Dr. Sanjay O is an Indian surgeon specialized in field of pediatrics and laparoscopy. He was the former dean of the St. G.S. Medical College and King Edward Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. He is also an elected fellow of the National Academy of Medical Sciences, former director of medical education and major hospitals for medical colleges in Mumbai. He is a prolific writer in Marathi and a weekly columnist of great repute. Dr. Sanjay Oak was also the Vice Chancellor of the Padma Shri Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, Navi Mumbai, the CEO of Prince Ali Khan Hospital, Mumbai, and Aga Khan Health Services India. He was appointed as the chairman of the task force for COVID-19 in Maharashtra.
Up in the north in the state were caves, and those caves were called as Shinto caves. And there were two levels of caves. One was at a lower level, which could be approached by a severe worldwide expeditionist. But then there were caves right in the top, where you can't even stand, and you have to crawl in these caves, which was possible to only local natives. And in these caves was something that caused this whole problem. And that's that bat, which you are seeing on the left-hand bottom part of the slide. And on the other side is a colony of these bats. The blood, the saliva, the urine, and the fecal droppings of these mammals were responsible for this virus. Now we have all heard of Batman, and then there came a Batwoman. But the true Batwoman of China, of the entire world, is this scientist, and her name is Shi Zhengli, a relatively young woman who right from 2004. Now why this 2004 is important? That was a time when we first experienced SARS epidemic. From then, she was working on bats. Her life was bats. She used to go to those caves, crawling, using PPE kits, collecting the various samples from these bats, and continued the research to an extent that she has by now identified 4,500 genomic sample variants that came from viruses of these bats. She, in my mind, is a perfect picture of courage and conviction, who had the guts to tell the US president that he's talking nonsense. Now, where did all this escape from? This is the institute called as Wuhan Institute of Virology. This was established in 1956 as a virology institute of China. Remained at an intermediate or low profile till 2004. And when the SARS epidemic broke in, China funded this institute massively to convert this into one of the topmost institutes that the world has got. And the virology research fundamentally happening here led to the discovery of and probably the release of the virus which we are blaming today. Now, one question is often asked to me that, sir, was this virus man-made or it happened? I have no answer. Nobody has an answer. Whether it was an intentional manufacture in the form of a genetic engineering or whether it was an accidental mutation. But the way the virus is exhibiting its capacity to mutate and create new variants, there is a reason to believe that it happened on its own. Then comes the next question. How did it get out of this institute? How did it spread all across the world? Was that release intentional or was it an accident? Again, There is no clear answer to this. You should look at the life cycle of this virus. Basically starts from bats, then it goes into wild animals. Now from here, it came into an accidental contact of human being. And what was responsible for that? The thing that you see on the right side is China, Wuhan's wet flesh market. Now in China, you know, the type of Chinese that we ate in Pune and Bombay, you don't get in China. In China, anything that runs, jumps, crawls, gallops, swims or flies becomes food. Anything and everything is eaten. And therefore, through the flesh, the virus got into man. Then you would say, but sir, then it should have been a GI tract sprayed. No. This was an aerosol, an air droplet infection that sprayed from these live wild animals before they were culled into the human beings. And that's how man got accidentally infected. The next question you will ask me is that, sir, why did it spread like a wildfire? We have seen so many pandemics. Even the plague didn't spread like what this thing had spread. And the reason for this goes into our economic ties. The next center after China exhibited case was Rome, was Italy. And how did it happen? That is because Wuhan was a manufacturing hub for good quality cloth and cheap labor was available. And Milan on the other end was the fashion capital of the world. There was a steady stream of visitors and people who work at Milan but inhabit from China. And there were virtually 2-hourly flights between the two cities. It is something like a sister city concept. That's the reason the virus traveled from Wuhan to Milan. And then from Milan, it went to Bergamo, Florence, Lombardy, and Veneto.
समस्त बंधू भगिनी आणि वारकरी भाविक भक्तांनो, तत्वज्ञ संत श्री ज्ञानेश्वर श्री तुकाराम महाराज यांच्या नावाने आणि विश्वधर्मी प्राध्यापक डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ दास कराड यांच्या अथक प्रयत्नाने साकार झालेल्या या विश्वशांतीच्या घुमटातून भागवत वारकरी परंपरेचा हा ज्ञान विज्ञानाधिष्ठित अध्यात्मशास्त्राचा दिव्य संदेश संपूर्ण मानव जातीला सुख, समाधान आणि शांतीकडे घेऊन जाईल याचा आम्हाला विश्वास वाटतो. जगभरातील मान्यवरांनी गौरवलेला हा विश्वशांतीचा घुमट लवकरच जगातील एक आश्चर्य म्हणून ओळखला जाईल आणि भारताला विश्वगुरू म्हणून मान्यता प्राप्त करून देईल अशी आमची प्रांजळ भावना आहे.